Howdy, hi. It is Dear Job Sports College Basketball Picks and Predictions for Friday, December 5th, 2025. We're looking at the best bets of the day. Let's get into the video. All right, first things first, got to recap previous day's results. So far, we are 2-2 with one game left going. That brings our season record to 119-92. We had $6 to the giveaway fund, bringing that season total to 108. We have to discuss something that was brought up in my Discord. I may or may not have completely forgotten that Davidson was on the ban list. That one just flew right over my head. I think with the fact that there was only 9 games to choose from today, I just kind of picked Davidson and didn't even think about it. Of course, they don't cover the 20.5. Why? Because they suck. They are on the ban list for a reason. They may be 6-1, but this team is not good. They are fraudulent. I should have never have taken them. That was stupid of me. My bad. All right, so I'll now recap how we go 2-2. Then we'll get on to the picks for tomorrow. All right, first game. This was not easy. Robert Morris. We had -1.5. They win by 2. 80-78 final score. They were down 7 points with 2.5 minutes left. They come all the way back. You may be asking yourself, how do they do that? It's like, well, when the opposing coach is actively running a podcast, you can't really trust him to win a basketball game when up 7 points with 2.5 minutes. Doug Gottlieb is not a real college basketball coach. He is fraudulent. You never put your money behind Doug Gottlieb. He sucks. Next game, Ryder plus 8.5. They almost won this thing on the shmoney line. 66-68 final score. Merrimack wins. You should never be laying 8.5 points with Merrimack. This thing actually closed higher. Merrimack closed at 9.5. Both of these teams are horrible. Ryder, 47% from the field, 31% from deep, 62% from the free throw line. They won the rebound battle 41-19, and they lost the game. 22 more rebounds than your opponent, and you lose the game outright. Merrimack, 46% from the field, 38% from deep, 64% from the free throw line. They win the turnover battle 8-15. Both of these teams are awful. I will probably be fading them in their coming games in MAAC play. They suck. All right, so I already mentioned, for some reason, I forgot Davidson was on the list. We took them -20.5. Of course, they did not cover -20.5 because they suck. They win the game 79-63, so a 16-point win. They shoot 45% from the field, 62% from the free throw line. They win the offensive rebound battle 13-6. They win the turnover battle 14-6. They shot 7 more free throws and 10 more field goals than the Citadel, yet they only won by 16 because the Citadel shot 50% from the field. How are you letting one of the worst offenses score 50% from the field? And then also, how are you not scoring 80 points minimum on the Citadel? They're horrible. They are the second worst ranked defense in the entire D1. This team sucks. Then we have the Mormons. We took Utah State -2.5. They won the second half. Unfortunately, they did not realize a basketball game was being played for the first 20 minutes. Final score, South Florida 74, Utah State 61. The halftime score was 20-41. Utah State 36% from the field, 29% from deep. They win the offensive rebound battle, and they win the turnover battle. 2 things, they win. They lose the game by 13. They couldn't shoot. USF 45% from the field. They also won the free throw battle. USF 32 free throws. Utah State 15. That's just a little bit of home cooking. Just a wee bit. All right, then we still got one game going on. It is Cal Poly. We took the over 174.5 in a game between them. Cal State Fullerton. The current score at the time of me recording, 22-15. Cal Poly winning with 11 minutes and 9 seconds left. So the live over-under is 179.5. We're looking all right. All right, that's the recap. Get on to the picks for tomorrow. All right, first game we got, it is Fairfield on the road at Manhattan. This is more MAAC play. Both of these teams, first game of conference play. You got two teams, one with a 3-5 record, the other with a 5-3. This is basically a pick'em. I've watched a decent amount of Manhattan basketball this year. I think they're pretty good. I like their style of play. I don't think Fairfield's going to be able to keep up with them. And Manhattan should have a pretty solid crowd. Friday night, first conference game of the year. Should be rocking. Fairfield 5-3 on the year. Their wins, however, are fraudulent as all hell. NJIT, Stonehill, Loyola Maryland, Lemoyne, and New Hampshire. Those are 5 of probably the bottom 50 teams in the country. All of their losses are to good teams, Penn State, Seton Hall, and Columbia by 29. They can't shoot the ball, 41% from the field, 32% from deep, and they have a bottom 100 total ranked offense. I don't see how they're going to score the ball. Manhattan 3-5. Their wins, also not good, over a D2 school, Utah Tech, and then Mississippi Valley State. They have 2 losses in a row by 2 and 3 points to Wagner and Army. Their offense, they're good. Their defense is their problem. They gave up 100-plus points to Texas A&M, expected, Wagner, not expected, and USC. There's going to be no defense played in this game. I also don't mind the over, but I think Manhattan plus points at home has better value, so give me the Jaspers at home plus 1.5. Next game we got, it is Gonzaga and Kentucky. Neutral site game because both of these schools are weaklings. I'm going to take the over, 159.5. I have no clue how this thing isn't a minimum of like 166, 167. We've seen Kentucky get absolutely dominated on the boards. That is what Gonzaga is going to do. They have a very efficient offense. They've already beaten a ton of teams this year, putting up a lot of points. Kentucky's defense is not good. It's rated okay, but that's because they beat up on small schools. They've gotten exposed against bigger opponents. I think they get exposed here. Gonzaga, 7-1 on the year. Their wins, Maryland, Alabama, Oklahoma, Creighton, Arizona State. Good Lord. Then they ran into a buzzsaw, losing by 40 points to Michigan. Not ideal, but that should be some inspiration here. You come in, drop 100 on Kentucky, and it's like the Michigan name never happened. They score 91 points a game. You just heard all those teams I read. I would say 3 of those schools have a better defense than Kentucky. Oklahoma, Arizona, and Maryland, I would all put above Kentucky's defense. Top 25 in the nation is the 91 points per game. They played a top 40 pace. They're fantastic on the glass. That is where Kentucky struggles. If you remember the Michigan State game where they got murdered, they dominated them on the glass. That's going to repeat right here. Kentucky 5-3, their losses, very good teams. UNC, 17-point loss. Michigan, a lot. And then 8-point loss to Louisville. Their defense, it's been rough when they play high competition. They're also dealing with some injuries. You have the big man down low. He's not playing until conference play. The transfer guard from Pitt, Lowe, he's doubtful for this game. I don't see where they're stopping Gonzaga. Give me the over, 159.5. That is my favorite play of the day. All right, next game we got, it is Samford on the road at VCU. Give me the Rams minus the big number. I do not see how Samford's going to stay in this thing. Rams are coming off a big win at Virginia Tech. Samford just lost a home game to Utah Valley by 45 points. This court's one of the best small division or mid-major courts in college basketball. It's going to be rocking Friday night. I think they win this thing by 30 plus. Samford 4-5 on the year. A reminder, this is the first head coaching year of Lenny Acuff. Came over from Lipscomb. I think he was there for like 8 or 9 years. This Samford team's one of the weirdest in college basketball. If you remember, they almost beat Arkansas straight up on the road. They lost that game by 4 points. I think they had a 3-point lead with 45 seconds left and they choked. Then they got destroyed. 45-point loss to Utah Valley. They can't shoot it 39% from the field, 65% from the free throw line, and they're going up against the VCU defense. That is very good. VCU 5-3 on the year. Most recently, they beat Virginia Tech by 18 points in the Bahamas. They dominate every single stat you could want. They're the better shooting team, the better rebounding team. They have better overall defense. I think they have the better coach. Their losses this year are to Vandy, NC State, and Utah State. Those are going to be 3 tournament teams most likely. Maybe not the Mormons based on what they did today at USF, but the first 2, Vandy and NC State, 100% tournament teams. VCU's good. They're always good at home. It is very tough to play at the Siegel Center. Give me VCU minus 20.5. All right, next game we got Notre Dame on the road at TCU. This is such an overreaction of a line. Who is TCU to be laying 7.5 points against a middle-of-the-pack ACC team? Yes, they're coming off of 2 big wins. Do you think Jamie Dixon should be minus 7.5 points against the Fighting Irish? That answer is no. Notre Dame, they're good. They've beaten Missouri and Rutgers in 2 out of their last 3 games. They are now hoping to add a Big 12 school to their resume. TCU, they are a team you want to back as a dog, not as a home favorite to an ACC school. Notre Dame 6-3 on the year. Their losses are to Ohio State by 1 on a true road spot, Kansas by 10 in Las Vegas, and then Houston by 10, also in Las Vegas. Kansas and Houston miles above TCU. They've kept it tight with every single team they've played. Why is this line 7.5? Notre Dame, they played a very slow pace, bottom 50 in the country. They have a top 150 defense. Very good team with not turning the ball over. They returned a ton of production. They're starting point guard and small forward, Marcus Burton, and then head coach Shrewsbury's son. I forget his first name. They've been with Notre Dame their entire career. They're now juniors now. They bring in a transfer center, a transfer shooting guard. This team is good. There is no way they should be a 7.5 point dog to the Horned Frogs. TCU, 5-2 on the year. Their losses came against New Orleans opening night, and then Michigan at home by I think 4 or 5. They do look much better now. They beat Florida and Wisconsin in their neutral site MTE in San Diego. They're now back home. This is where they struggle. They're good on the road. They are ass at home. Letdown spot after beating 2 really good opponents. Notre Dame plus 7.5 money line live. All right, final game we got NJIT on the road at High Point. Give me High Point minus 26.5. This is NJIT's 6th road game in a row. They are taking on a High Point team who just lost a home game to Southern Illinois. They are going to get destroyed. Normally, High Point beats the tar out of these mid-majors coming into them. Bounce back spot after an egregiously bad loss. They need this game like blood. They're going to win this thing by 40. NJIT 3-6 on the year, 5-game losing streak. If you would use your brain, that is all 5 of their previous road games. Their 3 wins are against Fordham, they're not good. Fairleigh Dickinson, they're not good. And Loyola Maryland, they're ass. They start 2 true freshmen. One of them is their point guard. They're a bottom 50 rated defense in the country. They score just 63 points a game, 37% from the field, while also turning it over 14 times a game. That is horrible. High Point 7-2 on the year. Like I said, coming off of the home loss, they don't lose home games until conference play, and even in conference play, they don't lose. They score 93 points a game, shoot at 52% from the field, play at a top 100 pace. They're second in the country in steals per game. NJIT, we mentioned it, they turn it over 14 times a contest. High Point by 50. You could ladder this thing to the moon. They're going to win this game by 1 billion. All right, then my almost bets. You have the crosstown shootout, or whatever that thing's called. Cincinnati, Xavier. Give me Xavier minus 1.5. Cincinnati lost a home game to Eastern Michigan. There is no chance I am taking them as a pick'em with Xavier. Next one, Mount St. Mary's plus 9.5. Mount St. Mary's a team you're going to want to back as a dog, not as a favorite. There's no chance I'm laying double digits with Marist. Finally, Eastern Tennessee State minus 5.5 at home to South Alabama. South Alabama coming off of a big road win. ETSU I think is going to be pretty good this year, so I will lay the 5.5 at home Friday night. All right, that's going to do it for me in this video. Let me do a live score update on this Cal Poly game. It is 28-25, 6 minutes and 50 seconds left. The live over-under has come down to 177.5. How's the pace looking? All right, pace is looking good. Just neither team can make a three-pointer. So hopefully they start putting ball in hoop. All right, I appreciate you guys watching and tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.